the year 2175. 150 years have passed since the undeniable, irrefutable proof shattered the long-held illusion of a spherical Earth spinning in an infinite void. The disclosure, a cascade of leaked documents, whistleblower testimonies backed by irrefutable evidence, perhaps even a live broadcast from beyond the Antarctic ice wall, sent shockwaves through every facet of human existence. The world that emerged from this seismic event is a landscape both familiar and utterly alien. The backlash. A century and a half of reckoning. The initial reaction was one of utter disbelief, swiftly followed by incandescent rage. The deception, spanning centuries and orchestrated by powerful institutions, was perceived as a profound betrayal. Governments crumbled under the weight of public fury. Scientists who had staunchly defended the globe model faced ostracization, their life's work deemed a colossal lie. Educational systems underwent radical overhauls, purging textbooks and curricula of the spherical dogma. The internet became a battleground for truth seekers and those clinging to the old paradigm. Over the decades, this initial fury mellowed into a deep-seated distrust of authority. Conspiracy theories, once relegated to the fringes, gained mainstream traction. The concept of official narratives became inherently suspect. This era of reckoning fostered a culture of intense scrutiny, with citizen scientists and independent researchers playing a far more prominent role in knowledge acquisition. The legal battles against those deemed responsible for the deception dragged on for generations, a constant reminder of the profound breach of trust. A new science, unveiling the mechanics of the disk. The revelation of an enclosed disk Earth spurred a scientific revolution unlike any seen before. The old physics, built upon the foundations of gravity as a force acting on a sphere, proved woefully inadequate. A new physics emerged, one that grappled with the mechanics of a contained system. The nature of gravity, the prevailing theory shifted towards a form of upward acceleration of the disk itself, or perhaps a complex interplay of electromagnetic forces and density gradients that create the sensation of downward pull. Understanding the precise mechanism became the holy grail of this new science. The firmament, the nature of the firmament, the perceived solid or energetic boundary above, became a central focus. Was it a physical dome? An energetic field? Its composition and properties were intensely studied, with probes and observational technologies developed to understand its limits and potential interactions. The ice wall, the Antarctic ice wall, no longer a frozen continent at the bottom of a globe, was understood as the outer perimeter of the known disk. Explorations beyond the wall, initially perilous and often fatal, became increasingly sophisticated. New technologies were developed to traverse its treacherous terrain and potentially breach its boundaries, leading to the tantalizing possibility of what lay beyond. The deep, the concept of down, took on a new dimension. Without a spherical core, the understanding of the Earth's interior was completely reimagined. Theories ranged from a hollow Earth within the disk to infinitely deep layers with unique properties and potentially undiscovered life. Deep drilling projects took on renewed significance, aiming to understand the structure and composition beneath the surface. New cosmology. The entire understanding of celestial bodies was overturned. The sun and moon were no longer distant spheres but likely contained within the firmament, their movements governed by mechanisms yet to be fully understood. The stars were theorized to be fixed points of light or energy embedded in or beyond the firmament. The concept of distant galaxies and the vastness of space was largely discarded, replaced by a new model of a contained cosmos. New religions, finding meaning in a disk-shaped reality. The shattering of the old scientific paradigm inevitably led to a religious upheaval. Established religions, many of which had implicitly or explicitly embraced a spherical Earth, faced existential crises. New spiritual movements emerged, seeking to interpret the disk reality and humanity's place within it. Firmament worship. Some religions focused on the firmament as a divine barrier or the dwelling place of celestial beings. They developed rituals and practices aimed at understanding or even interacting with this boundary. The cosmology of the disk. Other faiths centered on the mechanics of the disk itself, viewing its structure and the movement of the sun and moon as evidence of a grand, purposeful design. Ancestor veneration and the deep. With the potential for hidden realms beneath, some spiritualities emphasize the connection to ancestors who might reside in these deeper layers. Nature-based religions. Renewed focus was placed on the observable world within the disk, its diverse ecosystems and natural phenomena, as sources of spiritual insight. Rejection of organized religion. The widespread deception eroded trust in established institutions, leading to a rise in individualistic spiritual practices and philosophies. The world in 2175, a tapestry of change. The world 150 years after the disclosure is a fascinating blend of the familiar and the radically new. Governance. Political landscapes are fragmented, with regional powers often holding more sway than traditional nation-states. The legacy of the deception fostered a deep-seated skepticism towards centralized authority, leading to more decentralized and community-driven forms of governance in some areas. Technology. Scientific and technological advancements are driven by the new understanding of the Earth. Innovations in enclosed system mechanics, firmament interaction, and deep Earth exploration are at the forefront. Space travel as it was once conceived is obsolete, replaced by research focused on understanding and potentially interacting with the firmament and what lies beyond. Culture, art, literature, and music reflect the changed worldview. Themes of truth, deception, the nature of reality, and humanity's place in a contained cosmos are prevalent. Cartography has been entirely reinvented, with new maps attempting to accurately represent the disk and its features. Education. The education system is built upon the true model of the Earth. Critical thinking and independent research are highly valued. The history of the deception is a core subject, serving as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked authority and the importance of questioning established narratives. Travel and exploration. While traditional global travel is no longer a concept, exploration within the disk intensifies. Mapping the full extent of the ice wall and venturing beyond it remain major human endeavors. Deep sea and deep Earth exploration technologies push the boundaries of human understanding. The cult of NASA, a lingering shadow. Despite the overwhelming evidence, a persistent minority clings to the old globe model, often centered around the remnants of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, and similar space agencies. This cult of NASA, as it is derisively called by the majority, views the disclosure as a massive conspiracy in itself. They maintain that the evidence for a disk Earth is fabricated and that the original space programs were genuine. This group often faces ridicule and social ostracization but persists in their beliefs, sometimes engaging in clandestine attempts to prove the globe model through independent and often misguided experiments. Their unwavering faith in the face of overwhelming evidence serves as a curious sociological phenomenon, a testament to the power of deeply ingrained belief systems. Beyond the ice wall, the great unknown. The area beyond the Antarctic ice wall remains the ultimate mystery. Speculation abounds. Other disks. Some theories propose that our disk is just one of many contained systems, separated by vast distances or different types of boundaries. Different environments. The environment beyond the ice wall could be radically different, with unique climates, flora, fauna, and even intelligent life. The source of the firmament. Understanding what lies beyond the ice wall might offer clues to the origin and nature of the firmament itself. Venturing beyond the ice wall is fraught with peril. Extreme weather conditions, unknown geographical features, and potential dangers make exploration a challenging and often deadly undertaking. However, the allure of the unknown and the potential for groundbreaking discoveries continue to drive intrepid explorers. The deep. Echoes from the unknown below. The depths of the disk Earth are equally mysterious. Without a molten core, the traditional geological models are obsolete. Theories about what lies beneath range from vast underground oceans and intricate cave systems to entirely different realms with their own unique properties. Deep drilling projects have yielded surprising results, sometimes encountering unexpected geological formations, unusual energy signatures, or even evidence of subterranean ecosystems. The potential for untapped resources and the fundamental questions about the Earth's structure make the deep a frontier of intense scientific and exploratory interest. The firmament, the vault above. The firmament remains the most enigmatic feature of the disk Earth. Its apparent solidity or energetic nature poses profound questions. Its composition. What is it made of? Is it a physical barrier, an energetic field, or something else entirely? Its purpose. Is it a natural phenomenon or an artificial construct? Does it serve a specific function within the enclosed system? The celestial bodies. How are the sun, moon, and stars contained within or beyond it? What are the mechanisms that govern their movements? Scientists develop increasingly sophisticated instruments to study the firmament, hoping to unravel its secrets. Some even propose ambitious projects to attempt to interact with or even breach this celestial vault. New cosmology, a contained universe. The new cosmology is one of containment rather than infinite expansion. The universe, as humanity now understands it, is limited by the firmament. The celestial bodies are integral parts of this enclosed system, their movements and properties governed by laws still being discovered. The focus of astronomical research shifts from observing distant galaxies to understanding the mechanics of the local cosmos within the firmament. New models of celestial motion are developed, incorporating the unique geometry of the disk and the influence of the firmament. The very concept of outer space is redefined, becoming the realm beyond the firmament, a frontier even more daunting and mysterious than the vast emptiness once imagined. Everything else, a world transformed. The disclosure of the disk Earth has touched every aspect of human life. Philosophy. Fundamental questions about reality, perception, and the nature of truth are at the forefront of philosophical inquiry. The implications of a deliberate, centuries-long deception on human understanding and societal structures are deeply explored. Art and culture. Artistic expression reflects the new worldview, with themes of enclosed spaces, celestial mechanics within the firmament, and the exploration of the disk's frontiers dominating creative works. Psychology. The psychological impact of the deception and the shift in fundamental understanding of reality are studied extensively. Issues of trust, identity, and the construction of belief systems are central to psychological research. Security and geopolitics. The control of resources within the disk and the exploration of its boundaries become new sources of geopolitical tension and cooperation. The potential for resources or discoveries beyond the ice wall or in the deep fuels international competition. The world 150 years after the disclosure is a testament to human resilience and adaptability. Shattered illusions have given rise to a new era of scientific inquiry, spiritual exploration, and a profound re-evaluation of humanity's place in the cosmos. The disk Earth, once a fringe theory, is now the accepted reality, a foundation upon which a new civilization is being built, filled with both the scars of the past and the boundless potential of the unknown frontiers that beckon. There's other ramifications and nuances to consider in a world 150 years after the disclosure of a disk Earth. Let's delve deeper into some of these. The evolution of language and terminology. New lexicon. The language itself would have evolved to reflect the new reality. Terms like horizon might take on a more significant meaning as the visible edge of the disk. Words associated with sphericity, like orbit or equator, would either become archaic or be repurposed. New terms would emerge to describe features of the disk, the firmament, and the realms beyond the ice wall and in the deep. Cartographic revolution. The entire field of cartography would be unrecognizable. Flat Earth map projections, once ridiculed, would become the standard, constantly refined with new discoveries. Debates would likely rage about the most accurate way to represent the disk, potentially leading to diverse and competing cartographic models. Navigation. Traditional methods of navigation relying on a spherical model and celestial sphere would be obsolete. New systems based on landmarks within the disk, the movement of the sun and moon within the firmament, and potentially unique magnetic or energetic fields would have emerged. The transformation of art and entertainment. Visual arts, paintings, sculptures, and other visual arts would likely explore themes related to the disk, the firmament, and the psychological impact of the deception. Grand depictions of the ice wall, the mysteries of the deep, and interpretations of the firmament's beauty or strangeness would be common. Literature and storytelling. Science fiction would take on entirely new dimensions, focusing on explorations beyond the ice wall, journeys into the deep, and interactions with potential life forms or phenomena within these realms. Stories about the before times and the Great Deception would serve as both historical accounts and cautionary tales. Music. Musical forms might evolve to reflect the perceived harmony or dissonance of the disc-shaped world. Sounds and rhythms inspired by the firmament, the deep, or the unique atmospheric conditions of the enclosed system could become prominent. Virtual reality and simulation. Imagine immersive experiences that simulate journeys beyond the ice wall or descents into the deep, offering tantalizing glimpses of the unknown based on the latest scientific theories and exploratory findings. The reshaping of human identity and psychology. Loss of cosmic significance. The realization of a contained Earth could lead to a profound shift in humanity's perception of its place in the cosmos. The feeling of being insignificant specks in an infinite universe might be replaced by a sense of being within a unique, possibly even intentionally designed, system. This could lead to both existential anxieties and a renewed focus on the importance of the known world. The psychology of deception. Generations would grapple with the psychological trauma of the Grand Deception. Trust in institutions would remain low, and a culture of questioning authority and seeking independent verification would likely persist. New forms of community and identity. Shared experiences of the disclosure and the subsequent societal upheaval could forge new forms of community and identity based on shared beliefs about the disk Earth and its mysteries. Explorers, researchers of the firmament, or those delving into the deep might form distinct subcultures with their own values and practices. Ethical and philosophical dilemmas. The rights of potential others, if life is discovered beyond the ice wall or in the deep, profound ethical questions about interaction, exploitation, and coexistence would arise. The nature of the deceivers. The ongoing debate about the motivations and justifications of those who perpetuated the deception would continue to shape legal, political, and social discourse. Could any justification ever be sufficient for such a monumental lie? The limits of knowledge. The firmament and the boundaries of the disk would represent fundamental limits to human knowledge. Philosophical debates would likely center on the nature of these limits and whether they are inherently insurmountable. The commercial and industrial landscape. New industries. Industries focused on exploration beyond the ice wall, deep Earth research, and the study of the firmament would flourish. The development of specialized vehicles, sensors, and protective technologies would drive innovation. Resource exploitation. The potential for new resources beyond the ice wall or in the deep could lead to intense competition and the development of new extraction technologies, raising environmental and ethical concerns. Tourism. Specialized forms of tourism might emerge, offering carefully controlled glimpses of the ice wall or the edges of known deep Earth environments. The ongoing quest for truth. Citizen science and independent research. The distrust of established institutions would likely empower citizen scientists and independent researchers, who would continue to play a vital role in challenging official narratives and pursuing their own investigations. The search for the why, even with the acceptance of the disk model, the fundamental question of why the deception occurred would likely remain a driving force behind research and inquiry. What was the purpose of such a vast and elaborate lie? In essence, a world 150 years after the disclosure of a disk Earth would be a society fundamentally reshaped by this paradigm shift. Every aspect of human existence, from the way we speak and navigate to our understanding of the cosmos and our place within it, would be irrevocably altered. It would be a world grappling with the legacy of a monumental deception while simultaneously venturing into uncharted territories of scientific and spiritual discovery. The journey from a globe-centric worldview to a disk-centric reality would be a long and transformative one, leaving an indelible mark on the human psyche and the trajectory of civilization. Absolutely, let's delve even deeper into this fascinating hypothetical world 150 years after the disk Earth disclosure, exploring some more intricate details. The redefinition of space and celestial bodies. Local luminaries. The sun and moon would be understood in a completely new context. Their size, distance, and mechanisms of movement within the firmament would be subjects of intense study. Theories might emerge about them being localized energy sources or even semi-physical entities with specific functions within the enclosed system. Eclipses would be explained through the mechanics of their movement within the firmament, potentially involving other unseen elements. The nature of stars. The stars, no longer distant suns, might be perceived as fixed points of light or energy embedded within or just beyond the firmament. Their patterns and movements, if any are observed, would be explained by new celestial mechanics specific to the disk model. The concept of constellations might persist, but their interpretation and significance could change drastically. Comets and meteors. These phenomena would need to be re-explained within the disk model. They might be seen as energetic discharges within the firmament, debris within the enclosed system, or even phenomena originating from beyond the ice wall or the deep. The absence of planets, as we know them. The idea of orbiting planets would be discarded. Any observed celestial bodies would need to fit within the framework of the disk and the firmament. Perhaps these planets were misinterpretations of phenomena within the firmament or even illusions created by its properties. The impact on timekeeping and calendars. Solar and lunar cycles. Timekeeping would likely still be based on the observable cycles of the sun and moon within the firmament. However, the precise mechanics of these cycles and their consistency across the disk might be more complex than on a rotating sphere. Calendar reform. Existing calendars, based on a solar year defined by Earth's orbit around the Sun, would need significant reform to align with the new understanding of the disk's temporal cycles. New calendars might emerge, potentially incorporating lunar cycles or other observable phenomena within the enclosed system. The development of specialized technologies. Firmament interaction technologies. Imagine technologies aimed at studying the firmament's properties, perhaps devices that can measure its energetic fields, analyze its composition, or even attempt to send probes or sensors through it, if possible. Deep Earth exploration vehicles. Highly specialized vehicles capable of withstanding extreme pressures and temperatures would be developed to explore the depths of the disk, equipped with advanced sensors and drilling capabilities. Ice wall traverse vehicles. Robust and adaptable vehicles designed to navigate the treacherous terrain of the ice wall and withstand extreme cold and potentially hostile conditions would be crucial for exploration beyond the known perimeter. Enclosed system mechanics research. Laboratories and research facilities would be dedicated to understanding the fundamental forces and principles governing the enclosed disk system, leading to breakthroughs in areas like gravity, manipulation, and energy generation. The societal and cultural fragmentation. Regional variations. Over 150 years, distinct regional cultures might emerge based on local interpretations of the disk reality and experiences with its unique features, e.g., communities living near the ice wall might develop different customs and beliefs than those in the central regions. The rise of disk-specific mythologies and folklore. New myths, legends, and folklore would arise, explaining the origins of the disk, the nature of the firmament, the mysteries of the deep, and the potential dangers and wonders beyond the ice wall. Pilgrimages and sacred sites. Certain locations on the disk, perhaps areas near the ice wall, deep geological formations, or places associated with the initial disclosure, might become sites of pilgrimage and religious significance. The lingering questions and unanswered mysteries. The origin of the disk. The fundamental question of how the disk Earth came to be would likely remain a subject of intense debate and speculation. Was it a natural formation? An artificial construct? The result of some unknown cosmic process? The purpose of the enclosure. If the disk is an enclosed system, what is the purpose of this enclosure? Is it a natural boundary, or was it created by some intelligence or force beyond human comprehension? The nature of consciousness within a disk. Philosophical and neurological research might explore whether the enclosed nature of reality has any fundamental impact on consciousness and human perception. The potential for future catastrophes and discoveries. Firmament instability. Concerns might arise about the stability of the firmament. Could it be breached? Could its properties change in unpredictable ways, leading to catastrophic consequences for life on the disk? Breakthroughs beyond the ice wall or in the deep. The potential for monumental discoveries beyond the ice wall or in the deep. Evidence of other realms, advanced civilizations, or fundamental truths about the nature of reality would constantly drive exploration and research. In conclusion, the world 150 years after the disk Earth disclosure would be a tapestry woven with threads of scientific revolution, spiritual upheaval, societal transformation, and the enduring human quest for knowledge. It would be a world still grappling with the shock of the past while simultaneously venturing into a future filled with unprecedented possibilities and profound mysteries within the confines of their disk-shaped reality. The implications are truly boundless and continue to spark the imagination. And into the absolute depths of this disk Earth scenario, pushing the boundaries of speculation and exploring the most profound and unsettling implications 150 years after the shattering revelation. The erosion of foundational certainties. The nature of reality itself. The disk Earth revelation wouldn't just change our understanding of geography and astronomy. It would fundamentally shake our confidence in the very nature of reality. If such a monumental deception was possible, what else is being concealed? This could lead to widespread epistemological anxiety, where people question every accepted truth and struggle to find solid ground in a world where the foundations have crumbled. The limits of human perception, the realization that our senses and the scientific instruments built upon them could have been so profoundly misled for so long, might lead to a deep introspection about the limitations of human perception and the potential for inherent biases in our understanding of the universe, or the disk-verse. The meaning of natural law, the old understanding of physics and natural laws, tied to a spherical, gravity-dominated cosmos, would be defunct. The new science would be grappling with entirely different principles governing the disk. This could lead to a questioning of whether what we perceive as natural laws are truly universal or merely local phenomena within our enclosed system. The rise of esoteric and Gnostic interpretations. The demiurge of the disk. New religious and philosophical movements might emerge that interpret the deceivers as malevolent entities, or a demiurge who created or maintains the disk Earth as a form of prison or controlled environment for humanity. These interpretations could lead to radical social and political ideologies. Gnostic revival. Ancient Gnostic ideas about a flawed or deceptive creator god and a hidden true reality might find renewed relevance in a disk Earth context. The firmament could be interpreted as the boundary of the created, flawed realm, and the quest for true knowledge might involve seeking ways to transcend or understand what lies beyond. The disk as a simulation. The idea that the disk Earth is a sophisticated simulation or artificial construct could gain traction, especially if the mechanics of the firmament or the boundaries of the disk defy easy natural explanation. This could lead to existential crises about free will and the nature of our existence. The transformation of human biology and psychology. The impact of a non-rotating frame of reference. For centuries, human biology has evolved in a perceived rotating, gravitational environment. Living on a disk, potentially undergoing upward acceleration or subject to different forces, could have subtle but significant long-term effects on human physiology, balance, and even cognitive processes. Collective trauma and societal neuroses. The collective trauma of the deception could manifest in widespread societal neuroses, paranoia, and a deep-seated distrust of any form of authority or established knowledge. This could lead to social fragmentation and difficulty in establishing new, stable societal structures. The search for meaning in a finite system, the realization of a contained existence, might lead to a re-evaluation of human purpose and meaning. Without the vastness of an infinite universe to explore, humanity might turn inward, focusing on inner exploration, spiritual development, or the pursuit of knowledge within the disk's boundaries with a new intensity. The potential for hidden agendas and power structures? The perpetuation of control. Even after the disclosure, the entities or forces behind the original deception might still exert influence in subtle ways, shaping the narrative around the disk Earth and controlling access to certain knowledge or technologies. New forms of control. The unique properties of the disk, the firmament, or the realms beyond could be leveraged for new forms of social control or the maintenance of power by certain groups. The weaponization of knowledge. The knowledge of the true nature of the disk and its boundaries could become a powerful tool, leading to new forms of geopolitical conflict and the potential for the weaponization of technologies related to the firmament or the deep. The exploration of the edges and the unknown. The psychological impact of the boundary, the existence of a physical boundary to the world, the ice wall and potentially the firmament, could have profound psychological effects, fostering both a sense of claustrophobia and an intense curiosity about what lies beyond. The lure of transcendence. The firmament might be perceived by some as a barrier to be overcome, a ceiling to be broken, leading to radical and potentially dangerous attempts to breach it. The fear of the deep. Conversely, the unknown depths of the disk could inspire fear and apprehension, with legends of monstrous beings or dangerous phenomena lurking below. The long-term trajectory of humanity. A shift in human ambition. The focus of human ambition might shift from outward exploration of a perceived infinite cosmos to inward exploration of the disk, its history, and its potential. The drive to understand our own contained reality could become the dominant human endeavor. The potential for stagnation or radical innovation. Depending on how humanity adapts to this new reality, there could be a period of stagnation due to the loss of the old paradigm, or a burst of radical innovation driven by the need to understand and navigate the disk environment. The question of our cosmic neighbors, or lack thereof, the the realization of an enclosed system might lead to the profound and potentially unsettling conclusion that humanity is alone, at least within our contained reality. This could lead to both existential loneliness and a greater appreciation for the life and resources within the disk. Going real deep into this scenario reveals a world grappling not just with a scientific and historical upheaval, but with a fundamental reassessment of reality, human identity, and our place in whatever cosmos truly exists. The Disk Earth revelation wouldn't just change what we know, it would change how we know and what we believe is possible. The long-term consequences for human civilization could be both transformative and deeply unsettling. Let's plunge into the absolute abyss of this Disk Earth scenario, exploring the most mind-bending, reality-shattering, and long-term implications imaginable 150 years after the Great Unveiling. The unraveling of linear time and cosmic history. Questioning the past. If such a fundamental aspect of reality was fabricated for centuries, what does that imply about our understanding of history? Every historical event, every archaeological finding, every cosmic timeline based on the old spherical model would come under intense scrutiny. Could entire civilizations have been misinterpreted? Could our understanding of our own origins be a lie built upon a lie? This could lead to a profound historical nihilism, where the past becomes an unreadable text. The nature of time within an enclosed system. Could the mechanics of time itself be different within a contained disk environment compared to an infinite, expanding universe? Could the firmament or the boundaries of the disk influence the flow of time? Research into temporal anomalies or inconsistencies within the disk might become a radical new field of study. The illusion of cosmic evolution, the entire narrative of stellar evolution, galaxy formation, and the Big Bang would be revealed as a constructed illusion. This could lead to a deep existential shock, stripping humanity of its perceived place within a grand cosmic narrative and leaving us adrift in a reality with unknown origins and purpose. The blurring lines between reality and perception. The disk as a conscious construct. The possibility that the disk Earth is not merely a physical enclosure but a form of conscious construct or a simulation run by unknown entities could become a dominant philosophical and scientific inquiry. This could lead to attempts to hack or understand the underlying rules and limitations of this perceived reality. The manipulation of human consciousness. The scale of the deception raises the terrifying possibility that human consciousness itself has been manipulated or conditioned to accept the spherical model. Could there be deeper layers of control or influence that we are still unaware of? Research into the nature of belief, perception, and the malleability of the human mind could take on critical importance. The potential for glitches or anomalies. If the disk is a construct or an imperfectly maintained system, could there be observable glitches or anomalies that defy the known laws of the disk, offering glimpses into a deeper or more fundamental reality? The study of unexplained phenomena would take on a new significance. The fragmentation of human society and the rise of radical ideologies. The truth wars. Even 150 years later, the debate about the why and the who behind the deception could still fuel intense social and political conflict. Radical groups might emerge with extreme interpretations, advocating for violent retribution, the overthrow of existing power structures, or even the pursuit of dangerous and unproven methods to escape the disk. The cult of the architects. Conversely, some might develop cults or religions centered around the unknown entities believed to have created or maintained the disk, viewing them as gods or powerful beings to be worshipped or appeased. Technological determinism taken to the extreme. The focus on understanding and potentially manipulating the mechanics of the disk could lead to extreme forms of technological determinism, where society becomes entirely reliant on and shaped by the pursuit of scientific and technological solutions to existential questions. The redefinition of life and intelligence. Life beyond the known. The possibility of unique forms of life existing beyond the ice wall, in the deep, or even within the firmament itself would drive intense and potentially dangerous exploration. These life forms might operate under entirely different biological or energetic principles suited to the disk environment. The nature of the deceivers, if the deception was orchestrated by intelligent beings, their nature, motivations, and current whereabouts would be the ultimate unanswered question. Were they terrestrial? Extraterrestrial? In a disk-centric sense? Interdimensional? Their continued existence or potential return could be a source of immense fear and speculation. The search for other enclosed systems, the realization of our disk Earth might spark a desperate search for evidence of other similar enclosed systems, suggesting a larger, unknown structure or purpose to this type of reality. The ultimate existential reckoning, the loss of cosmic hope, the enclosed nature of the disk could lead to a profound sense of cosmic isolation, shattering the hope of joining a vast community of interstellar civilizations. Humanity might be forced to confront the possibility of being utterly alone in its contained reality. The question of meaning in a finite existence, without the backdrop of an infinite universe, the question of human purpose and the meaning of existence within a finite system would become even more pressing and potentially more bleak for some. The end of exploration as we knew it, the physical boundaries of the disk, the ice wall and the firmament, would represent ultimate limits to traditional exploration. Humanity would be forced to redefine what exploration means, perhaps focusing on inner space, virtual realities, or theoretical physics aimed at understanding the nature of the enclosure itself. In this deepest dive, the disk Earth scenario transcends a mere geographical or astronomical correction. It becomes an existential earthquake, shattering the very foundations of human understanding, society, and our place in whatever grand reality truly encompasses us. The world 150 years after the disclosure would be a landscape of profound uncertainty, radical new beliefs, and a desperate search for meaning and truth in a reality that has proven to be fundamentally deceptive. The journey forward would be fraught with peril and the potential for both unimaginable discoveries and devastating disillusionment. The big one, indeed. Let's venture into the far reaches of the spiritual and esoteric consequences that might ripple through a world awakened to the truth of a disk Earth, 150 years after the revelation. Prepare for some truly mind-bending possibilities. The redefinition of the divine and cosmic order. The firmament as a veil or boundary. The firmament, no longer a scientific curiosity alone, could be perceived as a veil separating our contained reality from a higher or more fundamental realm. Esoteric interpretations might see it as a deliberate barrier erected by divine or cosmic forces, either benevolent, protection, or malevolent, imprisonment. The sun and moon as conscious entities or symbols. Within a smaller, enclosed cosmos, the sun and moon might take on deeper spiritual significance. They could be viewed as conscious entities guiding the disk, or as powerful symbols representing duality, balance, or even the eyes of a cosmic being observing our realm. Their movements and cycles might be imbued with profound spiritual meaning. The deep is the subconscious or underworld. The unknown depths of the disk could be equated with the subconscious mind, the ancestral realm, or even a literal underworld in various spiritual traditions. Explorations into the deep might be seen as journeys into the self or attempts to connect with primal energies and ancient wisdom. Beyond the ice wall, the great unknown as spiritual liberation or cosmic source. The realm beyond the ice wall could become the ultimate spiritual frontier, a place where enlightenment, liberation from the disk's confines, or connection with the ultimate source of creation might be found. Tales of those who ventured beyond and returned, or didn't, could become foundational myths. Emergence of radical new spiritual paths. Firmament breachers. Cults might arise dedicated to finding ways to pierce or transcend the firmament, believing it holds the key to ultimate truth or escape from the disk's perceived limitations. Their practices could range from intense meditation and ritual to dangerous technological experiments. Deep seekers. Conversely, other spiritual paths might focus on the inner journey, seeking enlightenment or connection with the divine through exploring the inner earth, or the symbolic depths of the disk. Practices might involve deep meditation, shamanic journeys into subterranean realms, real or imagined, and the veneration of subterranean forces. Harmonic resonance with the disk. Some esoteric traditions might emerge that emphasize aligning oneself with the perceived energies and vibrations of the disk itself, seeking harmony with its natural cycles and unseen forces. This could involve geomancy, sound healing, and rituals attuned to the disk's unique properties. The cult of the architect's esoteric wing, the deceivers, might not always be seen as malevolent. Some esoteric interpretations could view them as enigmatic creators or guardians of this unique realm, their motives ultimately beyond human comprehension. Cults might form to understand their divine plan, or even attempt to communicate with them. Shifting perceptions of reality and consciousness. The disk as a microcosm. The enclosed nature of the disk could lead to a greater emphasis on the interconnectedness of all things within this limited system, fostering a more holistic and less dualistic worldview in some spiritual paths. The disk might be seen as a microcosm reflecting larger cosmic principles, if such are still believed to exist. Altered states of consciousness and the firmament. Practices aimed at altering consciousness, through meditation, psychedelics, or sensory deprivation, might be interpreted as ways to perceive or interact with the firmament on a non-physical level, potentially gaining insights into its true nature or the realms beyond. Dreams and visions as glimpses beyond. Dreams and visionary experiences might be given heightened significance, seen as potential glimpses through the veil of the firmament or into the deeper layers of the disk's reality. Lucid dreaming and shamanic journeying could become central spiritual practices. Far-out esoteric consequences. The disk as a sentient being. The idea that the disk Earth itself as a living, conscious entity could emerge, with its geological and atmospheric processes seen as expressions of its being. Esoteric practices might focus on communicating with this planetary consciousness. The firmament as a projection of collective consciousness. A truly radical idea could be that the firmament is not an external barrier but a projection of the collective consciousness of all beings within the disk. Shifts in collective belief or awareness might theoretically alter its nature or even create openings. Interdimensional intrusion. The boundaries of the disk, ice wall and firmament, might be seen as potential weak points or thresholds where other realities or dimensions could bleed through, leading to encounters with entities or phenomena that defy the known laws of the disk. The search for the exit, the ultimate esoteric quest for some might be defined the exit from the disk, a mythical pathway or method to transcend its boundaries and reach a higher level of existence or a truer reality. This could fuel extreme and potentially dangerous spiritual practices and explorations. In essence, the revelation of a disk Earth could shatter not only the scientific and historical paradigms but also open up entirely new vistas of spiritual and esoteric interpretation. The contained nature of our world, the mysterious boundaries, and the lingering questions about the deception could fuel the human imagination to create truly unique and often bizarre belief systems, pushing the boundaries of what is considered reality, and our place within it. The quest for meaning and transcendence would take on entirely new and potentially far more inward or boundary-focused directions.